Today, I flew from New York to London for the InMotion Playgrounds event, a 2-day animation-focused festival where Procreate just revealed their brand new app, Procreate Dreams. And I'm excited to say that actually, before getting here, I've already been using Dreams for a couple days now. So here's how it works and what I think. So Procreate, for anyone unfamiliar, is an incredible app focused on illustration, drawing, and painting. It's been my professional art app of choice for going on 6 or so years now. In a previous update, Procreate added something called Animation Assist, which brought a light amount of animation and storyboard capabilities like onion skinning to the app. I remember them saying, though, with the animation tools or any new feature, that they don't want to overload the program and instead keep it streamlined towards its purpose of drawing and painting.
Procreate Dreams is our next big thing for Procreate. It's our second album, I guess, if you could say that. Next generation animation software for iPad, and we're super excited about the amazing generation of animation students and people that are going to come up from this app, and the professionals that hopefully are also going to love it as well.
They've been working on this app for 5 years now, and what it's able to do is absolutely incredible. Procreate rethought and improved so many illustration tools, and Dreams is doing the same with animation and motion. You can still draw your own animation assets in Dreams frame by frame. You can use the various tools to modify assets and keyframe them, including not just movement, but rotation, warping, distortion. You can import audio and video to be used in each project, and of course, import anything you have in Procreate, including brushes, to be used and animated with. One of the coolest things is that they've built so much new tech to make Dreams work that the plan is to bring a lot of those features back into Procreate proper. So things like, I think they're calling it eternal undos. So all of the undos for your entire document saved into each file, and it doesn't just go away every time you close the app. And iCloud save backups, which a lot of people have been asking about for a while. Dreams is built with a stage up top and a timeline track on the bottom. And with this timeline, just imagine the layers panel in Procreate, but it moved in time. You can draw directly on the stage using any brushes either included in Dreams or that you've brought over from Procreate, even using clipping masks over top of moving layers, which in most other animation apps requires some amount of really involved masking. Here, it's just a one-step thing because this is what Procreate does. They just make things really intuitive. And it becomes even more clear when using it that the app doesn't lag when scrubbing through video or loading up a file. And that's something I've never experienced with a video editing app before, let alone something like After Effects. Here's a really cool feature that they call performing. Essentially, you can move, scale, and rotate an asset in real time. So you can do really simple moving up and down to talk kinds of things, or as it was demonstrated to me, because this is affecting an entire group, including something like a frame-by-frame animation, you can perform with the entire grouped animation and add rotation or movement to the whole thing. And it only progresses the recording when your pencil is touching the screen. So you can be as calculating as you'd like if you develop any performance anxiety. I swear that wasn't meant as a joke. So for example, you could have a looping walk cycle that was drawn frame by frame, but Perform would let you move that character through the scene. Where Procreate's outer grid acts as a cutoff point for anything that you drag off the canvas, in Dreams, an asset can exist just off screen or beyond the edges of the screen so that you can make foreground or background moves, make something zoom by, or fly off screen. In fact, James mentioned in his keynote that the Dreams file format is 1 million pixels by 1 million pixels. I can't even begin to comprehend what someone could do with something that size. The filters menu includes things like Gaussian blur, opacity, and actually in the demo someone did for me, they actually animated the color changing with the hue, saturation, and brightness sliders, which is really a good example of how unexpectedly straightforward some of these animation features are. In most apps, the timeline wouldn't really be something to get excited about, but here there's really a ton to love. For one thing, pinching and zooming in will loop just what's visible on the timeline and play just that, and you can sort of move and adjust how much you want to be looping just by pinching and zooming. And again, because tracks are sorted and nested like layers, it's really easy to organize and find something specific within an animation. You can even tag each of these groups with a specific color. If you just want that simpler animation assist style of workflow like Procreate had, you can use what they call Flipbook, which lets you flip through frames or images, and you can even import something that you made in Procreate's animation assist with a little bit of adjusting once it's in there to get the timing right. If you've been using Procreate with just your finger, first of all, congratulations, but the idea with Dreams is that it's been built around the Apple Pencil specifically, so they're advocating that you use the pencil along with those multi-touch and gestural controls, although your finger still works in the app.
Josh, Procreate Dreams.
The hype.
Now, as you might be familiar with, animation in general is a time-consuming process, and I've only had access to the app for a few days, including that travel time, but I've been able to make a few quick tests in the meantime that were really easy and fun to do. The goal with this app seems to be making more tools available to everyone, not just animators. And even more so than the Animation Assist tool, I can really see more digital artists and illustrators using Dreams to add motion to their work, and maybe even cross over into animating themselves. Currently, I've been animating my animated pilot Stormfellers in Blender, as it's a 3D animated show, but I already see ways that I can use Dreams for some scenes, even for that project. And for anything 2D, I see this being my go-to app, not just for animation, but things like motion graphics and storyboarding, and some really interesting mixed media things that you can do. I'm sitting here editing this video in the London heat and realizing that, you know, with all of the tools that Procreate Dreams has and all of this lagless performance it has, an argument could be made for it being just a straight up good video editor on the iPad. Like, why not? As for some technical specs, you can set up documents for social media, vertical, horizontal output, of course all customizable. You can set the frames per second, you can export videos at 4K, I believe 8K was mentioned as being supported. You can export video, GIF, the frames as individual images, and even adjust the video codec and bitrate. There's a feature too that lets you play the content on a second screen, which is great if you've got an external monitor to output to. Now, for what is probably the most exciting thing on top of the app itself, which isn't a surprise to people familiar to Procreate, the app is planned to launch November 22nd. It will cost $19.99 US. It will be a one-time purchase, no subscription service, no AI anything, no collecting your data. That just gets more and more insane as the years go on, that you could buy a piece of software once.
Yeah, it's a one-time fee, of course, the same as Procreate, it's the same pricing model, 20 USD. So we're really hoping that this is going to allow the next generation of animators to come up through iPad. We're really excited about what that's going to unlock with creativity for people and what access it's going to give people to creativity that they haven't had potentially in the past. So, yeah.
I think on paper for Procreate, what they're advertising as the features of this is that it's on the iPad and that it's built around the pencil. But I think for anyone that's used Procreate extensively over the last few years, there's that added element of the pedigree that comes with Procreate making something that gets you really excited to use it, because you know it's going to work really well, that they're going to add features and the features will outdo the previous versions of that feature in other programs, and that everything is just going to have this really streamlined, high quality feel to it. And not to put too fine a point on it, but when companies like Adobe are charging subscriptions, first of all, you can't just own the product, but then they're also adding all of these AI features and things which actively harm artists. You can see more and more Procreate becoming a pro-consumer and really pro-professional artist choice. With the example art that is included in Dreams, these were some pieces that Procreate commissioned some artists to do, I think probably at least a few months ago at this point, so they had a lot of time to really dig into all of the features here. And you can see already like how in-depth you can get with all of the tools here, and I think as you develop more of a fluency with the app, because I think there is a little bit of a learning curve, more so than your typical drawing app, right? Less of a learning curve than most animation apps. I think there's really a lot that you can do with this.
London at night. That is very funny.
In conclusion, Procreate Dreams, good. In short, Procreate Dreams, good. Like, really, really good. From London, this has been a guy and a plush and a backpack wearing a backpack for Character Design Forge. You can get my course Learn Character Design at learncharacterdesign.com, which incidentally, I made everything in there in Procreate. And you can get Vico's backpack at patreon.com/bagel-venison, which there's a Hames pin this month and a foil trading card that is forthcoming because of all this. Thanks for watching. Have fun creating. I don't think that this mic is working.